Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the UK. I know
Thank you.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, would you like to introduce yourselves? Because this is going to go out on the radio as well, so we can
Right.
make it nice and clear who you all are.
Well, I'm Paul Lamb.
Me, sir. I'm Layla Hall.
I'm Joey Spina.
Okay, and Joe, you play the bass.
I play the bass.
Yep.
Layla, drums.
Drums.
Yeah,
And I play guitar and sing.
Yeah.
We all sing, really. So, yeah.
right, and let me say, this is Paul Lamb and the Detroit Breakdown, just to make it quite clear. As the name would imply, you come from Detroit, is that right? Are you all from Detroit?
Yes, we are.
Born and raised.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, how long have you been together?
Well, we've been together now. Layla and I started playing together 4 years.
Yeah, 4.5,
Four
going on
and a half
5
years,
soon.
5 years. Joey's been in the band for about 3.5 years. Three
years.
and a half. Yeah. So
Okay.
the complete lineup here has been about 3.5 years.
Right, so how many albums have you done? I know the last one was Tales from the Gravel, is that
Tales
right?
from the Gravel, which was released about a year ago, and then the album before that was called Gunshot Lullaby. Our first album was Hanging On for Dear Life, and then we have an EP that we did between Hanging On for Dear Life and Gunshot Lullaby
Right,
called Sunrise from the Other Side. It's just like a 5 song. So.
okay. And for anybody that doesn't know your music, well, how would you describe it?
It's pretty straight up sort of Detroit funky rock and roll with a you know
Attitude.
huge dose of blues and a double dose of attitude for sure.
Because of course Detroit's got such a rich musical past. I mean, from Motown,
Very
blues and
very
gospel.
musical.
So what were you listening to when you were growing up that influenced you?
I was really into, like, well, of course, the Motown, because that was on everybody's radio all the time, you know. It didn't matter how young or how old, that was a staple. But there was a lot of other great acts. Funkadelic was one of my favorites, and they kind of stem from the rock side of things, the MC5 and the Stooges, bands like that. And of course, you had your Bob Segers, and it was endless. Lots of great bands came out of Detroit, and it was very easy to find support back then. The city was very much behind their artists, so you know they played everywhere all the time, and we had the opportunity to go see them a lot. You know.
What's it like there these days? Is there plenty of venues for young up-and-coming bands to play?
Not so much anymore.
Yeah,
It's
kind of died down.
yeah, it died down quite a bit. Yeah, the town's kind of down on its luck these days. A lot of people we've lost over like 200,000 people in the last few years have moved out of the city. So
Is that because I know it's been big for the motor trade in the past?
Yeah.
Is that something that's sort of died down now?
yeah, the auto industry is pretty much all but gone out of that city now. So yeah, there's no really hardcore industry there anymore to help kind of support the population, so people have moved.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it is.
But it's still home to you.
It always will be.
Layla, let me ask you, how did you get into playing the drums? I mean, you're such a small lady and, you know, you're such a fantastic drummer, so much energy. What inspired you and how old were you when you started?
You know what? I always loved music. Ever since I was a little kid, you know, I always loved singing and dancing, so I always had the rhythm in me. And about 10 years old, you know, the teacher came into the school and said, pick an instrument, you know, whatever you want to play, you can be in band. And of course I love music, so I wanted to be in band. And none of the other instruments really appealed to me all that much. I was just like, you know what, just give me a pair of sticks, let me bang on something that seems about right. And I started when I was 10, I never really stopped, and you know, just now I'm on the other side of the world playing.
So did you have formal lessons in drumming, or was it something you just picked up?
No, I started playing in school bands, so I started playing, you know, classical and jazz and marching band and the whole thing. I went to university for it, so. And when I was in school, I did all the other extracurricular, you know, other band stuff, or community orchestra, or, you know, this music camp.
Also quite a
or that
varied
music
selection of
camp.
styles.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's what I love about the drums, is that it's in every kind of music, all the way across the board, all the way around the world. Not really any other instrument you can say that for. I mean, voice, I suppose, but, you know, as far as like guitar or trumpet or any of that, drums is, percussion is the only one you can find in everything. And I love every single kind of music out there, so I guess that works for me.
And who are your favourite drummers?
Oh, geez, young or old, new or past. Guess I'll start like, you know, early with, you know, like Buddy Rich and Gene Krupa, that kind of style. And, you know, 60s drummers for sure, you know, John Bonham, Mitch Mitchell, all of Frank Zappa's drummers, you know, Ainsley Dunsbar, Terry Bozzio, Newer drummers, I like Dave Matthews drummer a lot, Carter Beauford, and I also like John Fishman from Fish a lot as well. I think they're all very talented drummers.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joey, I believe you're quite a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah, depends on the day of the week.
Oh, really? I believe you were playing some piano last time you were here, and I missed it.
Who's signing his paycheck?
Yeah, it depends on who's kind of my paycheck.
So, which is your first instrument?
Piano was my first instrument.
All right.
And then I, was kind of, that's what they kind of gave me lessons for, but of course I didn't want to do that, so there was a guitar in the house, and then I gravitated towards that and liked playing the guitar.
Were your parents musical?
Yeah, my dad was a musician, been a musician his whole life, and my mom was actually like an actress and in plays, and she sang. My parents were in a band together.
Oh, that's nice.
Other than that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So where have you been? Where have you been since I last saw you? Then, what have you been up to? Which countries have you visited?
Oh, jeez.
Can you remember?
Yeah, right.
It's a blur. We did 19 countries last year. This year we've had, this is our second European tour. The standard
It's all a
place
bit
you
of
go,
a
it's kind of a
blur.
loaded question. Yeah, we're in the UK.
Sorry, I should have had this written down.
Yeah.
I could tell you where you've been.
Yeah,
Holland,
a
we
little
were
bit.
there over the spring, Holland as well. Took, I'm going off. We took the train from here to France to Belgium. That was an adventure.
That was an adventure.
All right. Train journeys are cool, aren't they?
Yeah, well, unless you're hauling all your
Hauling
gear.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, not all our gear, but guitars
Yeah,
and
half
similar.
of
Yeah,
us
all
here.
over here.
Yeah.
How does she
And all-
cope? It's a good job she's got you two guys with her.
Yeah, it was pretty funny because we had to
Yeah.
catch like 6 trains.
I looked back and Layla was a mile behind me, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I
She
quit
gave
that
up.
day.
She gave up.
I quit that day.
Do you ever fall out when you're on tour on the road together? I mean, you spend 24/7 together, and
And
Is it hard?
We spend time off the road together too, which is funny.
Spina.
Yeah. No,
Not at all.
it's one of the beautiful things about this band. It was just easy. We really Joey kind of joined the band because we were all just such good friends, and we've been gigging around Detroit playing. It's like, why don't you just join the band? And yeah, we've been real busy the last few years, and
so what have you got on the cards then for the next 12 months, say?
well, our last show of this tour, we get back to the States, and our last show is on December 15th in Detroit. And then we're going to do the holidays, go see families and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're actually back out on the road. January 5th, we start off and do a little Midwest thing. And shortly off the tail of that, we're going to go to the studio and record a new record.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so our goal is to have that out by our next tour over here in the spring.
Okay. Because, of course, you'll be coming over for the Hebden Bridge Blues Festival.
Yes, we will.
In
Yes,
May.
we will. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, you were there at the first one a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we had
so.
the honor of doing the first one and had so much fun.
Yeah.
And we couldn't, didn't make it last year. I
No.
don't remember where we were, but yeah, we got asked back this year. We're really excited.
And, of course, it's now the award-winning
The
Hebden Bridge
award-winning.
Blues Festival.
That's
Yeah. Yeah.
Very proud of that.
So,
Oh.
yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And on this tour, now we're doing a lot of new material that hasn't even been recorded yet, because we're trying to get it, greased and ready for the studio. So when we get to the studio, you have our ideas.
Right, so you'll be really comfortable with it.
Yeah, because the songs really, especially for us, really get worked out in a live sort of
Right.
situation.
So do they grow and evolve?
Yeah, they grow exactly.
Yeah.
They grow and evolve constantly, especially when they're so new. But so we've been doing quite a bit of unheard material on this tour, which is fun for us too. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fresh.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to do the same music all the time,
Not
do you?
all the time, yeah.
We do like to hear some of the old stuff as well, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to
Oh,
mix it up
it's
a
all
bit.
in there. It's all in there. Yeah.
So hopefully a new album out in the spring then. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's the goal at this point. There's a lot of hoops to jump through and a lot of people to answer to, but that's our goal.
I know the first track on the album, Tales from the Gravel, is called Having the Time of Our Lives. Is that how you would sum up the way things are going at the moment?
Oh yeah,
Pretty
that's never a dull moment.
Never.
That's kind of our mantra. That's why we wrote that song, and it's kind of this up-tempo, high-energy song, and it's just about life on the road. That's what the whole
Yeah,
song
because
is
some of
about.
your other songs, they can be a little bit more about the darker side of life sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, coming from Detroit and the
Yeah.
trials and tribulations we've all grown up with there, it comes out in your music too. We try to write, with a balance. Don't want it all to be gloom and doom.
No.
So, positive side.
Do you find once you've written those songs and you've got it out of your system, you don't want to keep revisiting the same topics? Or?
Yeah, but the topics are kind of endless. And we feel that there's a lot of important things that need to be said. When you're blessed with the opportunity to have a microphone in front of you every night, there's responsibility that comes along with that. I personally believe that. You have the opportunity to attempt to change things.
Or at least raise awareness, perhaps.
Voice awareness, or even voice your opinion, which is a very powerful thing for anybody to do. In that sort of a setting when you're on stage and people are there to watch you and such. Mm-hmm. So we don't back down from political issues and things like that. We'll go right at it, because it's important to us. And again, raising awareness, especially again from where we come from,
right.
and have watched our city be destroyed by greed and political
corruptness.
Correct.
All right. Okay. We don't want to get too political, but.
Yeah.
I must ask you about Joanne Shaw Taylor. I know you play bass, and Layla, you play drums with us sometimes over in the States and here in the UK.
We did till.
Or is that something that's?
Yeah, we ended up just getting our schedules just got too busy. Doing our band and her band was we were touring together, but then we did that, so we didn't want to do another tour together. So,
how did it come about in the first place?
Years ago, before Layla or Joey were even in the band, I toured over here and opened up for Joanne in Worcester, I believe. And I thought she was dynamite. We just kind of became friends, and she wanted to come over to the States. So she called me up, and she's like, "Look, I'm trying to get over to the States, blah, 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 I need a band." I said, "Well, I play bass as well," and by this point, Layla had now joined the band. This is still before Joey. And so we're like, "We'll be your backup band." So she came over and we did a tour, and I played bass, and Layla played drums, and it was great. And then we did that for a couple of years, and then we tried to do both bands at the same time, and then eventually, it just wasn't working.
Both schedules got a bit too heavy.
Yeah. So we set her up with some other friends of ours from Detroit and gave her a great Detroit band to back her up. We're all friends. We hang out all the time, but we just got too busy.
Right.
So we haven't played with her this year. Layla's done a couple shows with her this year.
Yeah.
But I didn't play
to
with her.
Sweden with her over June and some stuff in the States at the beginning of the year, but.
So it's all going well for both of you now.
Yeah.
Just plugging away at it.
Right.
Yeah.
So tonight, are we going to hear some new songs?
Yeah, we're going to hear quite a bit of new material.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to stretch it out tonight, and this is we've been on tour with Skinny Molly thus far, and we're finishing up with them. But this particular weekend, they had headed all the way up to Scotland, and we wanted to come around here because it's one of our mainstays when we come over here. And so tonight's really like the first night of the tour. We get to play really stretch out because we're the opening act, doing like 45-minute sets.
Yeah, you're limited.
But yeah, so tonight we can really kind of open it up. So we're excited about that. Get to play a little longer and do that sort of thing. So it'll be cool.
Right. Good. I mean, when you first wanted to come over to the UK, how easy or how difficult was that to sort out? I mean, it must be expensive for one thing.
Yeah, that it is. I had been touring with this sort of alt country artist over here for several years before I put this project together. And I always wanted to do, sort of, my own project, my own thing. And I met a lot of people touring with this other act. So when I finally got, the band together and got the album, I went to those people and said, "Hey, give me a shot." And they said, "All right, come on over, we'll see what happens." And now 5-6 years later, we're still doing it. So a couple times a year, so it's worked out.
And how do the UK audiences compare with those back in the States or even in the rest of Europe?
UK audiences are great. We've always.
You have to say that.
Yeah. Well, it's true because we've if anybody's that's been out to our shows, you can feel the energy. It's great. And the European audiences are great too. The audiences in the States are are good too, but it's a slightly different mentality. I always explain like this. It's like when you come over here and people are seeing a band for the first time, they welcome you like this. And then if they don't like you, you know, they do this. But over in the States, you have to prove it to them. You know, they start like this.
All right.
And then if they like you, they'll do this. So it's a different sort of attitude right up front. And it's a little more, the audiences are definitely warmer on this side of the pond.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I presume you have a website. Would you like to tell people what your website is?
Yes, Paul Lamb Detroit Breakdown. The website address is p-a-u-l music.com.
Thank you.
And that's the best way to get to it. If you search Paul Lamb Detroit, you can get that
You
far.
Google Paul Lamb, the Detroit Breakdown.
It'll come up.
Yeah, it's not difficult, is it?
Yeah.
Right, I think that was about it, guys. Well, thank you very much for talking to me, and
Absolutely, thank you, Christine.
this is going to be going out on, on Colin's Friday night blues session, so I'll let you know when it's going to air.
And great to see you guys as well.
Cool, thank you.
For sure.